For the past 16 years, the Ballon d'Or race has been kinda boring. In most cases, it was simply down to Ronaldo versus Messi, and even when it wasn't, then the race was either between two other men or simply a mere formality. But this season has provided so much drama and outstanding performances by so many individuals that I can make a serious case on how a handful of players could still win the coveted award. In this video, I'll give an in-depth look to 7 players who I believe could still win the award, and by the end of it, I'm sure you'll be shocked with how unpredictable this race truly is. First up, let's start with the most obvious candidate, Jude Bellingham. At this point, it's hard not to see him as a top contender for the Ballon d'Or. Jude has 37 goal contributions in 43 matches this season, which by itself is already outstanding, but the fact he has achieved this in his debut season in Real Madrid paints a picture of a player who has no problems on how to deal with the pressure. At the time of making this video, Jude has already clinched 3 trophies, including the La Liga title and the Champions League, and he could also add to that list the first ever Euro Championship for the Three Lions. If that combination of factors ends up happening, he'll at least guarantee a top 2 finish in the Ballon d'Or race. But there's another player that can absolutely spoil his party, and his name is Kylian Mbappé. Ever since his iconic World Cup debut in 2018, fans have touted him as the true successor of the Messi and Ronaldo dynasty. But the fact of the matter is that Mbappé is yet to win the most coveted prize in football. However, I don't think that has affected his motivation at all. Kylian keeps improving as the years keep passing, and this season he's been in outstanding form despite all the controversies around his departure for Real. He still has one more month of competition ahead of him, and he has already surpassed the marks of several Ballon d'Or winners. Then again, if he can translate his impressive goal scoring tally into meaningful accolades, it will all be in vain. Winning Ligue 1 is not really a major factor taken into consideration by most journalists, and he already wasted his last opportunity of conquering PSG's very first Champions League. So if Mbappé wants to get his hands on a Ballon d'Or, he has to win the Euros with France and be one of the best players in the tournament, which on paper isn't that unlikely. Then again, if we take trophies out of the equation, we simply can't forget Harry Kane. I know what you're thinking, his debut season with Bayern has been awful, but only from a collective point of view. If we look solely at his individual stats, Kane has had the best season of his career. At the time I'm making this, the English striker has netted 47 goals in 49 matches. Besides, it's Euro Championship time, and as usual, Harry Kane turns his game up on those special occasions. If England somehow breaks their bottling curse and Kane ends up as the tournament's top scorer, don't you think he'd be a strong contender even though his season at club level was extremely disappointing? I mean, just look at Messi last year. Sure, he won Ligue 1, but he was nowhere near the level of Harry Kane in Bayern, and he couldn't take PSG past the round of 16 in the Champions League. At least Bayern made it to the semis. But Harry Kane isn't the only English player that could win the Ballon d'Or. In fact, I can make an even stronger case for Phil Foden, a truly magnificent player who I once saw someone describe as an Englishman that plays like a Brazilian, and in my opinion, there's really no better way to paint him. He's one of the few fun to watch players in his generation obsessed with efficiency, while at the same time, he can still put up respectable numbers for a winger. He's in the second place for the most goal contributions in the Champions League, despite failing to carry Man City to back-to-back finals, and let's be real, we all watched the game and we all know that City were clearly unlucky to be eliminated. At the same time, the citizens won the Premier League, by far the toughest league in the world. Couple that triumph to an Euro win with some stellar performances, and Foden could jump right to the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or rankings. Still, I gotta admit, I'm sounding extremely Eurocentric. We got Copa America in the summer, and that tournament has also played a big role in deciding who wins the award. And in my eyes, there's no South American player better than Vinicius Jr in 2024. The Brazilian winger suffered a few setbacks this season with an injury and constant racial abuse hampering his success. But during the last couple of months, Vini has really put the pedal to the metal. Ever since he came back from his injury, Vini has got 25 goal contributions, and I just don't see him slowing down. It will be very hard winning Copa America with one of the weakest Brazilian squads in recent history, but on the flip side, if he does achieve that feat, it will be even more valued by critics and journalists. And of course, let's not forget that he has the exact same number of titles as his teammate Jude Bellingham and that he was named the Champions League's most valuable player. Then again, this is FIFA we're talking about. And if we put all filters aside, I believe you'll at least slightly agree with me that the Ballon d'Or voting has been slowly turning into a popularity contest. Who knows, maybe Messi wraps up his international career with a Copa America and a golden boot of the tournament, and FIFA decides to give them yet another Ballon d'Or. Or maybe Ronaldo somehow pulls one last iconic Euro performance out of his ass to win Portugal's second Euro championship, and coupled with his crazy goal scoring talent in Saudi Arabia, maybe he's the one getting the Ballon d'Or. In reality, those two scenarios probably won't happen. We'll most likely enter a new era in football. An era of unpredictability where there's a larger amount of outstanding players that could win a Ballon d'Or at any given moment, only to be completely out of the race the next year. Just look at Haaland. Last year he had a crazy debut season and was extremely close to winning the Ballon d'Or. Fast forward a year, and even though he endured a remarkable season, his performances are below the other names mentioned here. It's indeed a new era and I'm all for it. What about you? Who do you think is going to win the Ballon d'Or? I'm going to leave a few names in the comments and you like the one that you think is going to win. If you believe another player should win the coveted award, comment his name and start the discussion. Thank you for watching until the end. I appreciate you and I will see you soon.